Hey guys, it's Mr. Kennedy back, and this video is going to be about vertebrates and their evolution and diversity, and then I'm going to break it up into two different parts. This is part one. Now we start off with chordates. Chordates simply means they have a notochord. They have this longitudinal flexible rod that holds nerve cords. They have a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Dorsal means on the back, of course, and have pharyngeal gill slits at some point in their development. We had gill slits. Ours developed into an estuarine tubes, which are in your inner ear. In fish, they develop into their gills. And then it has some type of post-anal tail. Ours actually disappears and becomes our tailbone. Some animals retain it. And they are deuterostomes. Now, when we talk about invertebrate chordates, these are chordates that do not have backbones. These are both suspension feeders, and there's basically two subphyla. There is the Urochordata, which are like your tunicates and your sea squirts. They're mostly sessile throughout their life. That means they stay stationary in one place, and they're marine. Then you have your cephalochordates, or Cephalochordata, which are like your marine sand-dwelling lancelets. They burrow into the sand and they filter feed. The importance of these two groups is that they appeared about 50 million years before the first vertebrates. So they were the chordates that are most closely related, or invertebrates that are most closely related to vertebrates. Now, when we look at vertebrates, first thing that they have in common, they have a neural crest. It's where cells, the embryological cells, the cells cover up the notochord dorsally, so it's actually covering it up. They have pronounced cephalization, which means they have sensory and neural equipment in their head. They have a cranial and vertebral column, and they have a closed circulatory system, which is corresponding with a ventral chambered heart. Now, when we talk about vertebrate diversity, you start out with the phylum Chordata, the subphylum Vertebra, and then you got these two subclasses. Agnatha is the first one, which are your jawless fish, and I'll show that in a minute, like your hagfish and your lampreys. And you have the superclass Gnathiostomata, which are like your jawed fish and your tetrapods. They have two sets of appendages. All right, so let's go to Agnatha first. This is an example down here. Look at the bottom right-hand corner of your jawless vertebrates. They're the most primitive of the vertebrates that we have living. Your lampreys are still around today, your hagfish, and they lack paired appendages. They don't have legs, more or less. They have cartilaginous skeletons and not bony skeletons, and their notochord throughout the life stays evident, and they have this rasping mouth, this mouth that's used for eating or sucking. When you talk about Gnathiostomata, there's several groups of these. The first one is the chondriathis, which are your sharks, your skates, your lanthrays. Down here in the bottom, things you're familiar with that live in the ocean. They have to have a continual flow of water over their gills for gas exchange. And there's different life cycles. Some of them actually hatch their young outside the body. Some retain fertilized eggs and give young that are born alive. And then some actually nourish in the placenta. So they have different life stages within this class. Another one is the osteocytes, which have an endoskeleton, a skeleton internally like us. They have a swim bladder, which allows them to move up and down in different levels within the water. And the most numerous vertebrate on Earth are these. There's more of them than any kind. And there's like the rayed fin, which are like bass, trout, perch, things that you would think of, which is over here in the left-hand corner. Then in the middle, you have like your lode fin. It's a fin supported by body skeleton extensions. And then you have your lung fin fished, which have gills and a lung, such as the Australian lungfish. And that's just a brief introduction to vertebrates, and I hope that helps, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.